WNBA All-Star starters and reserves were also announced.
They put Caitlin Clark number 9 as far as the guards go.
I mean, it's baffling.
However, I do take it as a sign of disrespect to Caitlin Clark.
So here's what just went down in the WNBA, and trust me, this is absolutely wild. The All-Star voting results just dropped on July 1st, and they revealed something that'll make your jaw hit the floor. Fans absolutely crushed it for Caitlin Clark, giving her a mind-blowing 2.93 million votes, which shattered every record in league history. But here's where it gets crazy. The actual WNBA players, they ranked her 9th among guards. Yeah, you heard that right. 9th, the same players who spend every single night designing entire defensive schemes around stopping her suddenly act like she's not even worth mentioning.
And we also got a peel back the curtain reveal on what the other players in the league think of Caitlin Clark.
Stirred up the internet last night was when we found out how the players ranked some of their fellow players, and of course specifically Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't some random voting mishap or innocent oversight. The WNBA players just showed their true colors and exposed themselves in the most brutal way possible. What we're looking at here is a calculated takedown of Caitlin Clark orchestrated by her own peers.
She's tied for the league lead in assists, for crying out loud. She's averaging 18 points a game. I mean, she's in a 3-game shooting downturn.
Look at what this rookie has accomplished. She's shattering records left and right, driving television ratings through the roof and packing arenas that couldn't sell tickets for decades. She's tied for the assist lead across the entire league, putting up 18 points per game, and just dropped a triple-double a few weeks back that had everyone talking.
Then the media ranked her as the 3rd best guard, and the players ranked her as the 9th best guard. There's no person in the world who can convince me that there are 8 better guards than Caitlin Clark in the WNBA.
But somehow these same players looked at all of that dominance and decided to bury her at 9th place. This isn't about basketball skill anymore. This is about sending a message, and that message is crystal clear.
Record-breaking number of fans who voted this year for All-Star, so that was really cool to see.
The numbers make this even more insulting. Clark didn't just win the fan vote, she absolutely demolished it with 2.93 million votes. That's more than double what most players even dreamed of getting. Even the media gave her the respect she deserved, ranking her 3rd overall, because sports writers who don't fall for hype still recognize greatness when they see it. But the players? They completely buried her.
It's Kelsey Plum, by the way, 16th best. Let me just keep it real. What do those two have in common? Oh, they're straight and they're white.
Want to know how messed up this voting really was? Paige Buchers, another rookie, somehow gets ranked higher than Clark. Natasha Cloud, who can't even come close to Clark's production, ends up sitting pretty at 4th place. Even Kelsey Plum, who's having the best season of her career, gets completely disrespected and thrown down to 16th. This pattern isn't accidental. It's a coordinated freeze-out.
And it confirms exactly what we think. The other players in the league can't stand Caitlin Clark.
These players watched Clark bring everything the league desperately needed: money, attention, sold-out crowds, television deals that actually matter. And instead of embracing the gift, they decided they wanted to tear it down. Not because she didn't earn every bit of success, but because she earned it way too fast. Because the fans connected with her immediately. Because she doesn't play their behind-the-scenes political game.
Huge shout out to Paige Buchers. She is having a great season.
And the on-court retaliation tells the whole story. Game after game, she's getting full-court pressed, elbowed blindsided, and hit with cheap fouls that would get flagged in any other situation. She's already been forced to miss 7 games because of injuries, and anyone watching knows this isn't just bad luck. This is what happens when you're the player the league desperately needs, but the locker room absolutely resents. We're not just talking basketball strategy here. This has gotten deeply personal and emotional.
Yes, you have somebody in Caitlin Clark who became the face of the league the first year that she was in the WNBA. She put up crazy numbers last season, and even in this season where she has struggled more games than she has balled out, she is still putting up wild numbers.
Here's what really gets me. Caitlin Clark is single-handedly the reason people are tuning in again. Her name trends on social media. Her jerseys are flying off store shelves faster than they can restock them. Her face is on every broadcast and promotional campaign. Instead of celebrating that incredible impact, the players decided to vote her into obscurity. They didn't just snub her, they tried to publicly humiliate her. But here's reality check time. You can rank her 9th in your secret ballot, but when those cameras start rolling and the ball gets tipped off, you're still designing your entire defensive game plan around stopping her. That contradiction speaks louder than any vote could ever speak.
When it comes to Caitlin Clark, these players are not getting any better. I think they're locked in, they're bound and determined to hate on the Indiana Fever guard.
Time to address the elephant in the room that everyone's too afraid to call out directly. Caitlin Clark doesn't fit their preferred mold, and that's the real driving force behind this disrespect. This isn't about her statistics or her turnover numbers or her rookie growing pains. This is about identity, and specifically identity politics within the WNBA culture. Caitlin Clark is straight white, represents traditional values, and most problematically for some, she stays completely out of political conversations. She's not tweeting hot takes about political figures. She's not turning press conferences into activism platforms. She's not checking the boxes or waving the flags that seem to matter most in today's WNBA environment, a league that has built its entire brand around social activism. That approach makes her a cultural problem.
Paige Bueckers actually had a higher weighted score than Caitlin Clark. The fans ranked her at 2, the media ranked her at the 5th best guard, and the players ranked her as the 4th best guard. However, if you are going to rank Paige Bueckers 5 slots above Caitlin Clark, at this point in time, even if we look at the statistics of the two of them, it just doesn't make sense.
Let's examine this deeper because the WNBA is exposing its own bias here. Take Natasha Cloud, for example. She's not having a terrible season, but her numbers don't even exist in the same universe as Clark's production. Yet somehow players rank Cloud significantly higher in their voting. What's the difference? Cloud checks every single political activism box that the league seems to reward and celebrate. She's constantly vocal about political issues. She's made national headlines not for her basketball performance, but for her commentary on political figures and social justice causes.
They may not be as loud on social media. They may not be as loud on these talk shows, talking and pushing out a narrative and pushing out an agenda. They learned that lesson last year. Ooh, not a good route to go. We need to conspire in the darkness.
Injury. Come on. This is insanity. And I think it's an activist vote by the women of the WNBA who simply cannot stand her success.
This pattern isn't coincidental anymore. The WNBA has created this unwritten rulebook where staying silent on political issues isn't considered neutral, it's considered offensive. Caitlin Clark brings in viewers from middle America, from conservative households, from families who just want to watch great basketball without getting lectured about politics. And somehow that massive fan base is viewed by current WNBA players not as a valuable asset, but as a dangerous threat to their established culture.
And so, America loves her. The fans clearly love her. The media likes her, but the players can't stand her.
The most frustrating part, Clark doesn't even engage in political commentary. She doesn't tweet about controversial topics. She doesn't go on political rants during interviews. She maintains complete silence on divisive issues. But in today's WNBA environment, that silence isn't seen as professional neutrality. It's treated like taking the wrong side. When you combine that silence with her explosive popularity, it becomes even more threatening to the established order, because her success exposes an uncomfortable truth that many don't want to acknowledge. Fans aren't showing up for political activism. They're showing up for Caitlin Clark. If you think this drama has peaked, wait until you hear about the plot twist that's about to make this situation even more entertaining.
Holding everybody off, putting Cheryl Reeve and the Minnesota Lynx on their heels, because that's how big of a difference maker Caitlin Clark will be.
Let's talk about Cheryl Reeve, and this is where things get absolutely perfect from a drama perspective. Reeve coaches the Minnesota Lynx and has been one of the most vocal critics of the entire Caitlin Clark phenomenon within WNBA coaching circles. She's aligned herself with media personalities who openly minimize Clark's impact and dismiss the Caitlin effect as manufactured hype. Reeve has publicly questioned whether the attention Clark receives is deserved and has made it abundantly clear that she's not buying into what she sees as an overblown narrative.
Now, Cheryl Reeve has found herself in Charlotte's web yet again, going way back to the decision to snub Caitlin Clark from the last year's Olympics.
Well, guess what just happened? Because the Lynx have the best team record as of July 4th, Cheryl Reeve just became the official head coach of Team Clark for the All-Star Game. Let that irony sink in completely. The same coach who has spent months publicly downplaying Clark's influence and questioning her impact now has to design plays specifically for her. She has to smile on the sidelines, coach her during timeouts, and pretend to be absolutely thrilled about working with the player she's been criticizing. You literally could not write a more perfect twist. This is reality television played out on a basketball court.
She should have been voted by the players differently. And I'm honestly not going to harp on this too long because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
The WNBA was not everybody watches. That wasn't the case. But you guys want to act like it was? Don't call me. You guys can explain why the viewership has been raising, why the attendance has been raising without using my name.
Let's destroy a myth that keeps getting repeated by players and league officials who want to minimize Clark's impact. The idea that the WNBA was already experiencing tremendous growth and viewership success before Caitlin Clark arrived is complete fiction. This narrative gets pushed constantly as a way to downplay her influence, but the actual numbers tell a completely different story. Before Clark ever put on a Fever uniform, the WNBA hadn't produced a single regular season game that drew more than 1 million television viewers in 16 years. That's not growth or momentum. That's complete stagnation in the entertainment marketplace.
No matter what Caitlin does, it seems to be something where she's either going to have to tirelessly earn the respect of her colleagues or she's never going to get it.
Clark didn't just give the WNBA a modest boost or small improvement. She created a complete transformation. Since her professional debut, WNBA merchandise sales have exploded by 550%. That's not a statistical bump or minor increase. That represents a total market revolution, and whose face is on all those jerseys that are selling faster than stores can keep them in stock. Caitlin Clark's face.
Why would you need to blitz her off of any screen? Why would you need to be physical with her if she wasn't that great of a player? Or you're just wasting your energy and you just simply don't like her. It's either one of the other.
The hypocrisy becomes obvious when you look at how the league actually operates behind the scenes. The same people who publicly downplay her importance are riding her success wave in every marketing decision they make. The league's promotional campaigns feature Clark front and center. The broadcast advertisements showcase Clark's face and highlights. The social media strategy revolves around Clark's games and performances. They're literally building the WNBA's entire future marketing strategy around her image and popularity while simultaneously pretending she's just another player among many talented athletes. You can't claim someone isn't the driving force while you're clearly enjoying all the benefits of the ride they're providing.
There is no point. All that this does is expose the players in the league for hating on Caitlin Clark.
The on-court situation has become even more disturbing and obvious. Caitlin Clark hasn't just faced disrespect in voting processes. She's been physically targeted and subjected to excessive contact almost every single game she's played, and this pattern is impossible to ignore once you start paying attention.
Whether it's jealousy, whether it's envy, whether it's we don't want you here. Folks, they don't want her here.
This type of targeting would create massive controversy and league intervention in any other professional sports environment. In the NBA, one flagrant foul results in automatic fines and potential suspension. In the WNBA, Clark just gets back up, brushes herself off, and continues playing while referees seem to ignore what's happening right in front of them. The consequences of this physical targeting have been severe. She's already been forced to miss 7 games with various injuries, including her most recent groin problem that sidelined her during a crucial stretch of the season. Despite dealing with all of this physical abuse and missed playing time, she's still averaging 18 points and 8.9 assists per game, while tied for the league leadership in total assists. These aren't just impressive rookie statistics, these represent elite professional basketball production.
I just don't understand, if she is your 9th best guard in the league, why do you continue to game plan and play defenses the way that you do against her? Why would you need to pay such close attention to the 9th best guard in the league?
Here's where the contradiction becomes absolutely laughable. The same players who ranked Clark as the 9th best guard in their All-Star voting are defending her like she's the most dangerous offensive player in basketball history. She faces full-court pressure, double teams, face guarding, and constant defensive attention that most superstars don't even experience. The defensive schemes are relentless and completely focused on stopping her impact. None of this makes logical sense unless you understand that what these players say publicly and what they actually believe are completely disconnected from reality. They'll fill out ballots pretending she's not a legitimate threat, then spend entire games proving exactly the opposite with their defensive strategies.
Doing all of this because you're trying to stop her because you know how lethal she can be on the court, or you're doing all of this because you don't like her.
There's a joke floating around basketball podcasts that teams start guarding Clark when she steps off the team plane. It sounds funny, but it's not really exaggeration. Opposing teams are designing comprehensive defensive game plans specifically focused on limiting Clark's effectiveness, yet these same players refuse to acknowledge her impact in official voting. The game footage exposes their real feelings and motivations. They can publicly claim she's not a problem, but their defensive playbooks tell the complete truth. All of this disrespect and targeting has sparked a conversation that used to seem impossible, but now feels increasingly realistic. Should Caitlin Clark consider leaving the WNBA entirely? There's genuine momentum building behind this question, and fans are seriously discussing the possibility. Overseas professional leagues in countries like Turkey, Russia, and Italy routinely pay elite women's basketball players over $1 million per season. That's significantly more compensation than Clark currently receives in the WNBA. If a wealthy country like Saudi Arabia decided to launch a high-profile women's basketball league tomorrow, they would likely offer Clark $10 million or more just to serve as the face of their new venture. That's the genuine market value she brings to women's basketball. Meanwhile, in the WNBA, she's treated like a controversial problem rather than the solution to decades of financial struggles and low viewership. She gets physically targeted, publicly disrespected, and constantly diminished by both players and certain media personalities. How long should she be expected to tolerate that treatment before deciding that maybe this league environment isn't the right fit for her talents and market value? Fans are asking these same questions more frequently. They've watched her single-handedly elevate the WNBA to unprecedented heights while being undermined and attacked every step of the way. Maybe it's time for her to seriously explore opportunities where her presence would be appreciated and celebrated rather than seen as a threat to established power structures. Because sometimes the issue isn't about outgrowing a league or moving beyond your competition. Sometimes the league environment was never designed to properly support or appreciate what you bring to the table.